I saw a dysautonomia doctor, and here is what I learned. Now, first of all, if you don't know what dysautonomia is, basically it's when your autonomic nervous system just doesn't work properly. And the autonomic nervous system is the part of our nervous system that does everything on its own. The heart beating, the sweating, the digestion, things like that. So all of that's just not functioning very properly on my end. And I got referred there because I had been fainting, just not epilepsy type falling down out of nowhere. People can have what they call drop seizures, but I don't really have those. So this was fainting. I feel the dizziness beforehand and then down. I'm usually out before I hit the ground, and I wake up sometime while my head's bouncing back and forth. It's the worst feeling. It's so terrible. So anyway, my cardiologist sent me to my dysautonomia specialist, and there are precious few of those across the country. And we just happened to have one right there in his cardiology group. I was really thankful. It did take 2 years to get in to see her, because the first year, really she books a year out, but the first appointment I had happened to occur the week of an ice storm. We never get ice in Memphis, and we had like 3 inches of ice. Completely shut the city down, as you can imagine. No infrastructure for that. So I saw her the next year, so just like maybe a month ago now. And it was amazing. It was like sitting down across the table from somebody who could read your palm, but instead of telling you all of the intricacies of who you're going to meet and what you're going to do, she could just tell me exactly what my health was like and why all of those things were happening. And I just sat there dumbfounded that it was possible for someone to understand me that well. Basically, she took all of the specialist's reports that she had gotten, my medical history, kind of laid them all on top of each other in her head and said, this is what's happening to you, and this is why it's happening to you, and this is what we can do to make it better. So basically, it came down to the concept of not having great vagal nerve health, and I think, seeing as I'm going in to be evaluated for a vagal nerve stimulator, I think we can already attest to the fact that my vagal nerve isn't fantastic. So she said that she wanted me to do some of these things to try to improve that. And she said, here's some things that can really reduce your vagal nerve health, because any irritation, excuse me, any irritation that you have in your body can lead to that reduced vagal tone. She said right now, COVID is something they're seeing a lot of. Excuse me, she also said things like diabetes, epilepsy, anything that's chronic long-term, you're going to see the body responding to that irritation. Now, when they did the testing on me, I do not have POTS, but I have something that's similar to it. So when I do stand up, my blood isn't pooling down at my feet. There is some blood pooling in my legs and my feet, but it's also equally in my arms. It's all spread out from my core, but it's not going to my head. It's not strong enough to get there. So she was labeling it as a vasovagal response, similar to when somebody, if you get woozy when they draw blood or they give you a shot, also a vasovagal response. So for me, standing up is just as traumatizing as getting an IV or getting my blood drawn, apparently. I don't know what to say about that. So anyway, she gave me a plan of action. Basically, just like you would for POTS, I am increasing my electrolyte consumption. So 2 quarts. She recommended the Propel. It's 0 sugar, which was really important to me. And she told me that if I'm feeling really, really dizzy, to add a teaspoon of pink rock salt. She said the pink rock salt was important because unlike granular table salt, that will scratch your mouth. But the pink rock salt dissolves instantly on whatever surface it touches, so it's not going to scratch you. But she said, take about a teaspoon of that, put it in your mouth, and swallow it like pills with one of these bottles. And she said that's equal to a saline bag that you would get in her office if you happen to pass out while you're there. So thought that was a really great bit of information to have. And she also put me on a supplement called alpha-lipoic acid along with famotidine, Pepsid. So the concept, I think, behind the alpha-lipoic acid is very similar to the keto therapy diet I do. It's trying to keep those nerves as lined as possible with good fat, trying to keep them from losing the coating that they have. I don't know that that's what it is for sure, but in my layperson brain, that seemed to be what the concept was. And then lastly, she put me on a sedative. I don't care for sedatives because I tend to be super sensitive to all medication, which she said was also something that goes along with having dysautonomia. It was like she read me like a book. It was crazy, though it was very validating, I do have to say. But she wanted me to have a sedative so that I would get better sleep than what I was getting, even though I thought I was getting great sleep. I can tell you the sedative did help. And she said the better the sleep I'm getting, the more my brain has a time to clean itself out and hopefully make the healing faster. And that's where I am with the dysautonomia, doctor. It has been really good. I've almost completed a month of my treatment. Been super impressed so far. So I will keep you updated as I go through this therapy with her. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Talk to you later.